right, we are live. Bring it on, Barbara Hemphill, Demetrius Farrior. Welcome. And then a little background music. I'm playing around with music a little bit. That's our first time using it, so that was fun. So welcome everybody. Let me go ahead and remove our slide. So welcome to Pep Talk, today's Pep Talk episode, Productive Environment Podcast. And I am Andrea Anderson, the host of Pep Talk. I'm here in Carolina Beach, North Carolina, joined by Barbara Hemphill, our Vision Accelerator and founder of Productive Environment Institute and all things productivity related. And then our special guest today is Demetrius Farrior, founder of DFIT. Welcome, Demetrius. DFIT, which stands for, he's the only one that can use those letters because his name, Demetrius Farrior's Institute for Transformation. So
what was it first? What was the first?
Yeah, the first initials, the first naming of it was also DFIT, and it was Demetrius Farrior's Island Training. So that fit too. And so for those of you that don't know, we go very far back. Demetrius has been part of Productive Environment for many years. I've known him for many years before that, and he credits Barbara Hemphill for building the structure, which we're going to talk about the structure, for his business, for DFIT. And so we share a lot of similarities between transforming your physical space. You know, Barbara and I are all about organization and your physical space and your digital space. And Demetrius is more about organizing your life, not just, he's about fitness, but it's not just fitness. It's organizing your life, and that's a part of it. In fact, one of the things you talk about, Demetrius, is transform your body, your business, and your life. And that's where we kind of go together. But before I bring you on, Demetrius, Barbara, do you have anything you'd like to kick off with? Because you've known Demetrius for a while.
Oh, I have, and I'm so happy to have you here because I just admired you, watching you grow as the time we've known. And I thought of so many things that make me smile. One is that you used to make your clients show you their office. And you would say the way you work is the way you work out. And I thought, oh, that is so, so true. And environment is everywhere. And, we define productive environment as an intentional setting in which everyone can accomplish their work and enjoy their lives. And then lately, I've been adding and enable others to do the same. I mean, it's the together we are better thing. It's like we were created from my belief as the body of Christ. None of us can do it all. I mean, physical exercise has been a stumbling block in my life since I was a child. It's been the hardest thing in my life. And so to see what Dee has done with DFIT is just exciting. So Dee, I'm delighted that you're here and look forward to the conversation. I know the listeners will be blessed.
Awesome. So Demetrius, why don't you just share very briefly kind of how DFIT started? And you, like I said, you credit Barbara with the 5 steps, the productive environment process, which I will share those as you're talking through it. But kind of in the beginning, just a little bit about your story and how you got here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm gonna just punch everybody in the gut. Just give it to them straight up. Moved to the island. It was a bad economy. I moved to an island. There's no jobs here. Looking for jobs. And so I've known Andrea for years. So I ran into her in Carolina Beach, and she said, "Do you know what I do?" And I was like, "No." So she was like, "Well, I have a productive environment," which nobody knows what a productive environment is when you first meet somebody. It's like, "What is it?" And she's like, "Oh, we take tools and we organize and we put everything on." I was like, "Oh my God, that's what I want. I want to be technical. I want to learn computers and online stuff." This was when Facebook just started, like the internet. So I was like, I want to be on the net. So we started working, and then she introduced me to Barbara, and then Barbara had a 5-step program. And what was that 5-step program, Andrea?
Well, we call it Barbara calls it the 5-step productive environment process. And we use it for everything. In fact, it's the first thing that anybody that comes to our boot camps, we have an office transformation boot camp and a digital transformation boot camp. It is the first thing that anybody does when they come into our boot camps. And so I sat down with you, and I think you attended one of our retreats at that time that we were hosting here in Carolina Beach. So you learned those 5 steps, and we just sat down and said, okay, let's talk, let's walk through these. So the first one is state your vision. So we
figure out what my vision was. So my vision was I need money. So Andrea was like, well, why don't you? I had a friend that had some weights, and she was like, well, why don't you take those weights and become a trainer? I was like, oh, a trainer. I was like, nobody. I was like, everybody wants to train. Nobody's going to pay somebody to train them. So I started training people, and I was actually working for a soda company, and they were just killing me. They would work me 2 days for like 14 hours, and then that was it. So I'd make like $200 a month, and that was it. So I was building my business and working at this place at the same time. So finally, I was like, I need to focus on building this business. So the first was state your vision. So I was like, state my vision. I need to get clients in so I can train them. So I started training Andrea and this other young lady named Pam. So I started training them for transformation. Then we started posting them on Facebook. That was my vision, was to make money with the training. So what's the part 2, Andrea?
Wait just a second. I just want to put something in here, in that the way successful businesses start is by identifying a problem that you can solve that people will pay you for, which is how my business started 46 years ago. It's like, okay, people were complaining about clutter and disorganization. Nobody was doing it. And that's what you did. There were people who were incredibly out of shape. You knew how to solve that problem, and voila, that's what you did. So that's what entrepreneurship is. And I think I'm so passionate about entrepreneurship because it's the little companies that change people's lives. The big companies are so mired down in all kinds of bureaucracy and greed and everything else, but it's the little companies that make a difference. And Dee, you've made such dramatic changes in so many people's lives. So I just had to put that in, that you're.
Thank you.
Well, I'm glad you said that. Well, I'm glad you said that, Barbara. I want to point out something too, because he kind of said it quickly, and I want to check in with the audience, those of you guys listening. He said one of his, issues in the beginning was, people don't want to work out, or if they do want to work out, they'll just do it. They know to just go to the gym and work out, because he was in the bodybuilding field. So to him, that was natural and normal. When you have a goal, you go to the gym regularly, and you don't make excuses, you just go. And I'm like, most people don't do that. I mean, I'm like, there's a lot of people out there like me, and every year, it's the beginning of the year now as we're recording this, every year people say, okay, I'm going to start working out, I'm going to start exercising, and we do it for a little while, and then we stop. So that was my life for years. And so I was trying to tell Demetrius, there are a lot of people out there like me. We need somebody to create, some structure for us and motivate us to get there, which we'll talk about a little bit later. So I saw the need, even if he didn't necessarily have the vision for the business yet. I said, there's people, you have a gift, and there are people that need your gift. Like Barbara said, find a problem that other people have that you can solve. And so we're going to do this kind of 2 ways with Demetrius's building of his business, but also the clientele. Like, my state your vision from those of us on the client side was, we wanted a system, a workout plan where we would actually go and do it consistently. So that's that vision. And the obstacle, and I'll just do ours real quick on our side. Obstacle is we make excuses. We don't have somebody to hold us accountable, or a friend to work out with, or we get excited and motivated. We're going to walk every day. We're going to do it, but then we don't. And things fizzle out and life gets in the way. So that was our obstacle.
Well, my obstacle was, I didn't know what to do. It was like, in Productive Environment Institute, we always use the question, what will you do? Because there's so many different ways you can do it. And part of what makes Dee's program really viable is that it helps figure out what the client will do. And that was huge for me, because it's like, I'm afraid I'm doing it wrong and I don't know what to do. And
Yep. And Kathy Music with New Path Productivity, people don't want to do it alone. you know, it's hard. It's hard to do it alone. So thank you,
Well,
Kathy.
well,
Go
the
ahead,
thing,
Demetrius.
Andrea and Barbara, these boot camps that we do, to you guys listening right now, we're just giving you the skeletal frame of what we do. That's why we have these boot camps for 4 weeks. 4 weeks is just a baby. We're just giving you the skeleton, then we're going to put the muscle on when you're doing. So we're going to scan over these steps. That's why these boot camps are so important. Like number one was state your vision. You know how long we have to state your vision when you're in our boot camps? Stating your vision, we have to really get into you and know who the person is. Then number two, number three, number five, as we go on in these boot camps, these modules, man, just one alone, we're going to be bonding with you guys. That's why it's so important to go into the 4 week and then we move on to the next stage.
Yep. So what about the obstacles for you in the beginning? So you were trying to build a business and you're like, okay, I want to build, you listened and you were like, okay, I have a gift. I can train people. What were the obstacles? And I know you got a lot of obstacles. Anybody building a business has lots of obstacles. So don't go into everything, but just kind of creating a system that people would come and pay for and learn from you and become clients. So
well, first of all, obstacles were when people first started paying was, you know, if they were out of town, they couldn't pay me with cash. So I didn't have PayPal, I didn't have Zelle, I didn't have Cash App. So starting out, it was like putting money in your hand. So if people were like, well, I can't come in, I can't pay you. So thank God for technology through the years. That's why we're so virtual now. Just the technology was the obstacles at first. That's one of them.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, my dogs are barking because there's people fixing my stairs outside. So just bear with me. Nothing I can do about it. So, all right. So let's go to number three. Number three of the 5-step productive environment process, commit your resources. So I remember we sat down and talked about this, Demetrius. We said, okay, you know, your vision is to have a business. Didn't know what it was going to look like. Didn't have a clue what it was going to look like. Talked about there's these obstacles in the way. And then I said, okay, you know, Barbara says, commit your resources. What do you have? What can you start with? And
well, my friend was, he was selling his weights for 150 pounds. For $150. And he had like a ton of weights. And I was like, man, you can sell those weights for more than $150. And Andrew's like, you need to buy those weights. And I was like, hey, dude, come back down to 100.
Oh no, we lost him. There, you're back. You're back. You lost your audio, Demetrius. Your sound went out. Your sound is off. You must have got a call. Did you get a call or something? Because, all right, you might have to jump off and come back in. I'll tell the story while you're gone. I was there. Yeah. So he was trying to tell his friend, like, oh, you can get all this money for these weights. No, we still can't hear you. You might have to sign off and come back on. Just click that link and come back on. That's probably what happened. You probably got a phone call or a text or something that threw it off. But anyway, so I was looking at the weights and I was like, wait a second, he just needs to get these and start his business. And so started, you know, that was one of the resources that was available. And he had, you know, didn't have a place, didn't have a specific space to do the business in. So he started in his garage. All right, let me bring him back on. Let's see. All right, say something now.
I hear you now.
Okay, you're back.
My phone started ringing and then you guys went mute.
Yeah, your phone must cut it off when it, yeah. Everybody that's watching, don't call Demetrius for a little bit. Yeah. Okay. So I told about the part about, and then he bought the weights and started in the garage and just had a few people coming in. So really that's a point where when you're starting a business and you think, oh, I need to get a big bank loan. I need to have investors and big financial stuff. You know, he just started with what he had. He started with what he had. And that's the
Productive Environment Institute started with a $7 ad.
That's right. In a New York City newspaper. That's a good point. Yes. You put out a $7 ad and Barbara Hemphill will organize you for guess how much she charged back in 1979?
Yeah.
1978, 1979.
$10 an hour. And I lived in horror that someone would ask me what made me think I was worth that. And I remember I had a client that was a really long-term client, and I was afraid to bill her, literally. And I let the bill get up to over $500. And then I was really scared. And I didn't have technology to Dee's point too. It's like I didn't have a technology way to do. She had to mail me a check or something like that. And I was terrified to send that $500 invoice because I was afraid she wouldn't pay me.
Okay, Barbara, you know me. I need closure. Did you send the invoice and did she pay you?
Yes, I
Okay.
sent the invoice and she paid me. And she didn't complain. Not only did she pay me, but she hired me for more after that. So
that's so cool. All right. So whatever you have, wherever you're starting, you commit your resources. What do you have?
Yep.
And then number 4 is create and execute your plan. So we had to create and execute a plan for Demetrius to start his business. We have to create and execute a plan for organizing someone's office and creating a productive environment in your space.
And that's always, I grew up on a farm in Nebraska, and my daddy used to have the phrase, where the rubber meets the road. And that's create and execute the plan is where the rubber meets the road. And it's the toughest part. That's where most people get derailed. And that's where you need the accountability and the support and other people doing it with you, because you just have most plans, my mother used to say, many hands make light work, or in PEI, we say, together we are better. It's so much easier to do it when you're with somebody else than it is alone.
Exactly. Yeah. Which brings us, and Demetrius, I'm going to go a little quicker now. So I'm going to skip past create and execute your plan, because it's
don't give them too much.
I was going to say, we got more to talk about. The number 5 of the productive environment process for us, for DFIT, for anything, is the hardest, you guys. I'm going to show you number 5. The 5 is the hardest.
Yep.
Sustain your success. And I can say, Barbara, when I talk to people about our organizing boot camps, and their biggest fear is first of all, they believe they know you, they might have read your book, Taming Your Paper Tiger, Less Clutter, More Life. They've been around us. They believe that we know what we're doing. And they even believe that we can help them. What they are afraid of is not being able to keep it up.
Oh, it's so true. It is absolutely the biggest obstacle to people coming into this. That's exactly right. It's the same with fitness, right, Demetrius?
Yeah. They lose 30, 40 pounds. Oh, Dee, you've taught me so much, and I can do it on my own. And then it's like it crashes because there's no more systems, they're networking, and the whole system that 1 through 5 has just crumbled.
Yeah, that's so true. It's like then you're kind of out there on your own and trying to maintain it. So yeah, that's the hard part. So I'm going to bring up some slides, Demetrius. Let me take off sustain your success. And we're gonna go through the 4 pillars. We talked about the 4 pillars to transformation. And what I want you guys to know is that these 4 pillars work for any transformation. And transformation is change, right? It's change. These work for any change that you are trying to make in your life. And so, Dee's tagline is go from sick and tired to fit and inspired. How many of you are sick and tired of being sick and tired, and you're ready to be fit and inspired? So we love that. And Barbara, just like with the vision, stating your vision, we have, why, what is your purpose of, did we lose Barbara? Oh, Barbara, we lost Barbara. Okay. I'm sure she'll come back on. So, what is your purpose for change, whatever that change is? And then, what is your motivation? What's going to keep you going when things get tough? What's your vision? That brings back to the vision. And then what's your goal? So these are all kind of related, right? It's like, why? Why do you want to do what you want to do?
The big why. The
big why, exactly. And then there's the how. Okay, so you have a goal. You're like, okay, I want to get in shape, or I just want to add, I want to be more energetic. It may not be about weight loss or getting in shape. It may be you're a business owner and you need energy to build your business. Barbara, you're back, but you're muted, so you might want to unmute that in a sec. I see your little mute thing.
There we go.
Okay, good. So we kept rolling, and now here you are on the screen. So, that's the thing. Like, we're all about systems, and Barbara says systems are saving you space, time, energy, and money. And so we put our systems together with between DFIT and Productive Environment Institute, it's the same process. Okay. Same process. And now let me go to the how. So we talked about the why and the how, and the next thing is going to be the what. But how? Okay, so here's the 4 pillars, guys. If you want to take notes, 4 pillars: connection, structure, and we say core structure with flexibility. Core structure with flexibility. I'm gonna come off these slides in a minute, so I'm gonna go through these. Accountability and consistency. Those are the things that, Demetrius, you teach. And now we just lost, oh, he's coming back. Those are the things that you teach: connection, structure, accountability, and consistency. And anybody that's ever come to DFIT, they know those things. They know those things. If you guys go and look at Demetrius's web, dfittransformation.com, there's testimonials on there, and some are from, we have mutual clients, and they all say consistency is the #1 thing that they recognize from Demetrius. And then there's the how. And so just like we have our 9 steps to lead people from overwhelmed to optimized, Demetrius has 9 steps to lead people from sick and tired to fit and inspired. And these are all important. They could be in any order, really. I mean, they're foundational. And one of the core things is a productive environment, having a productive environment in your space to help you accomplish these things. So let me see what other slides we have, and then I'm going to come off the slides. All right, transformation. First step. I asked Barbara if it was okay for us to say a swear word on here. So she said yes.
The preacher says it.
What's that?
The preacher says it.
The preacher says it. That's right. The preacher says it. So Demetrius practices the Goya method, which is
get off your ass.
We might be censored by YouTube. So the first step, not to be mean, is kind of funny. The first step is to reach out and make that connection, and that brings you to connection. And so I have to just say, even during COVID, we worked. This was kind of the beginning of virtual. Like, we were forced to be virtual during COVID, and then we just kept going, and we just kept going with the virtual. And so now Demetrius has clients all over the world. He does have a physical space here. And I don't know if you saw the pictures. Let me back up. The space is not fancy. I mean, and like the weights, you could go to another gym and the weights would be nice and clean and shiny. And Demetrius says, the weights weigh the same. Doesn't matter. And it's what matters is, are people using them? Are people using them? So having a community of people has made all the difference. And I was one of those people for years, just like most people, that said, every January, I want to start working out. I want to start working out. Well, when Dee launched DFIT, how long has it been? Like 15. It's been like 15 years, I think, now. That is a staple thing in my life, is that I have somewhere to go every day. I have people to work out with. I have people to hold me accountable with, and because there's a system.
Well, the systems work with Barbara, just like Barbara said earlier. You work the way you work out. Just the same with PEI, going to somebody's home and they're doing this project right here, and then they jump to that project right here. I'm pretty sure in the gym they do arms, and they jump over there and do triceps, and they do legs. This person moves like they move anywhere. So when you focus on that project, you focus on that project one step at a time. And that's where when you have a lot of ADHD people, is getting them to focus on that one project and moving to the next. And that's how you goal set, and that's how you keep the system going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Barbara, with you, because I know that you like exercise is important to you and feeling healthy and strong. What are some things that, because you've got a trainer, I think, because you've said many, many times, I won't do it by myself. If
that's
it's up
true.
to me, I just won't do it.
Nope. I just absolutely. And that's true for me for virtually anything. I am a collaborator. I do not work well alone on anything, whether it's designing my website, or I can sit here at my office and try to write something. But if I talk to somebody about it, it comes easier. So, it goes back to that. What will you do? Community is the word that keeps coming up. It's like,
And look what
Yeah,
Carrie
yeah, that's exactly right. And it is a community that makes things easier and more fun. And the tagline for Productive Environment is accomplish your work and enjoy your life.
Mm-hmm.
And most people do it better in community or a combination of each. Like I also need a lot of alone time. So I have to have both. If I'm in community all the time, then I just get worn out. I get worn out and I do not do well at all. But community is really important.
And then here's Ashley. She's one of our other girls. She said, yes, it's on the chalkboard. Yeah, there's a chalkboard at DFIT, and the 4 pillars and Goya is on that chalkboard. So everything is there. So that's what makes it, like Carrie said, the DFIT community, that's what makes it fun. You see the same people every single day when you go in. So if you are in the Wilmington or Carolina Beach area, or people, then certainly you can, they can plug in and join us live. But Demetrius is also launching a boot camp. So let me see if I can do this. Share my screen. This isn't Zoom, so I'm a little, there's the boot camp. Okay. All right. It's a little bit different. Are you seeing it now,
Yes,
Barbara?
okay.
Okay. See, I can't see us anymore. I can only see, wait a minute. What if I do that?
Well, you can take us off and then it'd be bigger and easier to read maybe.
Oh, okay. Good idea. Let's do that. I'll take us off of the screen. Remove. You guys know what this is. Transform your life. Go from sick and tired to fit and inspired. This is a 4-week live boot camp. Does this mean that you will be completely transformed in 4 weeks? No. But it does mean that you can get started. You will learn a system and a process, and you'll have connections with people. You're going to learn health, how to approach your health habits and daily routines. It's very similar to what we teach within Productive Environment Institute. It's structured very similarly. And so basically it's 8 live virtual sessions. You'll meet twice a week with Demetrius. They're interactive workshops with personalized guidance, actionable strategies, and the support you need to make lasting changes. I'll let you guys just go to this site. Ed, if you'll put the link up. I'm not looking at our screen, so I'm not sure if it's up already, but dfittransformation.com/bootcamp. And here's the schedule. He's got one launching in March. So it's coming up very, very soon. So come check this out. These are the 9 steps. I will be involved as well. So you will get a little, you'll get some productive environment magic in there also. And personalized attention, community support, expert coaches, and basically invest in yourself. So the total value of the transformative experience is, of course, immeasurable, but it's basically $497 one payment or 2 payments of $277, and you can enroll right here, and you will be in the March boot camp. And again, I'm going to come back to our screen. Oh, I'm still on camera. I'm going to bring Barbara and Demetrius back. If you are somebody that wants to change, you're like, I want to start getting in shape, or I want to start working out, or I want to just feel better, I want to not be sick and tired, then I encourage you to check this out. Check out the boot camp, dfittransformation.com/bootcamp, because it's going to give you a sense of community. It's going to give you that core structure. I want to talk about that for just a second, Barbara, because you are somebody who said, tell the story about structure. Like we all need structure, core structure, but we don't want to be confined either. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Well, it goes back to how important it is to learn about what you will do, right? So when I graduated from college, I was a music teacher. And for 1 year, I had a headache every single day. It's like, oh my gosh, there has to be another way to make a living. And I learned 2 things. One was I loved music, and I couldn't teach somebody else that didn't want to learn. So I'm sure it's the same with Demetrius. It's like, if somebody doesn't want to be fit, there's nothing you can do. And I always say, I'm not trying to convince people to get organized or be productive, I'm looking for people who say, where have you been all my life? So it's got to be something that you love. That's where you make money. You make money when you can sell what it is that you love that other people want. And the second thing I learned was I hated structure. And so I was teaching in 3 elementary schools. It meant that for 9 months, I knew what city I was going to be in, what class I was going to teach at every hour. It was like, throw me in prison. So I need so now my fitness now is I work basically with 3 different kinds of programs. I work with a physical trainer in a gym once a week. I do something from my office virtually, and I do swimming because I love variety. I have to have variety because I get bored very, very quickly. Mm-hmm. So it's really important to figure out what system is going to work for you.
Yeah.
Well, Barbara said the right thing with changing it with DFIT is more than just physical exercise. We've been doing this going on like 14 years working with Barbara. I've been studying. I'm a student. I'm a student as well as a teacher. But like Barbara said, it's like you learning the people were getting bored with basic exercises, and I'm like, that's what I've been doing for 10 years, the same, for over 30 years, for 10 years here. And then for 30 years, I've been doing the same workout. Most people aren't built that way. So at DFIT, we have to like, all right, well, let's do this project. And you have to do it where they don't get hurt. Because a lot of people want to do stuff and then they end up getting hurt. Oh, I hurt myself, but you wanted to do it. The same thing on the business aspect. Oh, I want to, do this. And then you put them in that program. They skip this program. They don't know how to do it. Then they want to quit. It's the same thing with the health and fitness aspect. These people want to do things, but they don't know what to do. They think they want it, but it's like, you're the expert. You've been watching people for years. Barbara, you've been watching people long before I was studying people. I've been studying for the past 15 years. You've been studying human behavior over 40 years. Yeah. So it's more than just telling somebody what to do. Yeah. It's learning. It's learning to people, talking to people, and everybody that's on now. That's what the boot camp is all about.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. I want to be clear because this is a differentiator that Demetrius always wants to be clear on, is that you're not going to be teaching. A lot of people think trainer, fitness, he's teaching exercise this is going to be an exercise class. That is not what it is. You can go to any gym, or if you have equipment at home, or if you're like Barbara and you have these different interests and things, you can choose what your form of exercise or movement is. It could be a combination of things. You might even have a trainer at another gym that you go to. Demetrius says, I'm the one that gets you to your trainer. Yep. He's the one, that's what the boot camp is. It's creating that structure in your life. It's creating a productive environment in your life so that you will go to your trainer, that you will go on those walks, so that you will prep your food. Having a productive environment in your kitchen is important if you want to change the way you're eating. So that's what really the boot camp, it's creating some structure, some consistency, some routines in your life. He's not going to be showing you weightlifting movements. If you want that and you need that, then you can have that too, but that's not what the boot camp is about. The boot camp is to get you up and going. If you have been thinking, I really need to start fill in the blank. I really need to start exercising. I really need to start drinking more water. I really need to sleep more. I just want to know what to do to feel better. That's what this boot camp is about.
Well, like you and Barbara always say, it's like what you do in the program, whether it's PEI or DFIT, is peeling the onion. It's peeling back what caused this. Where did this start at? It's peeling the onion. Why didn't you get here on your own? Why do you need me? Why? The whole thing is peeling back those layers, us getting to know each other, getting to know the client, getting to know their patterns. Are you married, not married, kids, no kids? It's peeling that onion and getting to know each other. That's how we figure out the problem. That's how we get our goals set. We're successful, we're healthy, and we have our finances lining it up in order. You don't have to be rich day one, week one, year one, but you're heading that way. Your health is heading that way.
Mhm. Yeah, good. And Dee, you've talked about what did you say the other day? You talked about fitness, family, and finances. And
Yep.
somebody said, what comes first? And yeah, I mean, it could be anything, but you can have an argument for either way, but fit, being healthy, and whatever that means to you, energy. That, to me, as we get older, being fit means more about having energy. To me, it's like, do I feel strong? Do I feel good? That is, I think that comes first, because then you can take care of your family, and then you can take care of your finances. If you don't have your health, then everything else suffers.
That is so, I mean,
right?
I think that is so important. If you don't physically feel good, it is very, very hard to do anything else. I mean, it really is, and one of the questions that I ask a lot is, what is one thing that has to happen in your life for you to feel happy with your progress? And you can ask that question in different areas. And one area you can ask it is in fitness. What is one thing that has to happen in your life from a physical standpoint for you to feel happy with your progress? And that's a great place. And if you did do the transformation boot camp with Dee, that's something he'll help you address. How do you deal with that one thing that you most want? It goes back to state your vision.
Yeah. Absolutely. One last thing as we wrap up. If you're not sure if you're ready for transformation, if you're ready for the boot camp, you're ready for the transformation, go to DFITtransformation.com. Just take off the boot camp part at the end, and there's an assessment. And it's a transformation readiness assessment. And you can take that assessment. That's free. So as soon as we get off of here, just go to DFITtransformation.com, fill out that assessment. And that will help. It's kind of a self-assessment. It'll help you figure out kind of where your head is. And then Demetrius will get a copy of that and kind of be like, okay. And then you guys can set up a call to talk about it. But if you're ready to jump in and you want support, then definitely dfittransformation.com/bootcamp and get registered. If you want to just ask some questions first and fill out that assessment, and then you'll have Demetrius's number. That'll be a way for you guys to get in touch with each other. So any closing thoughts for you, Demetrius, and then I'll have Barbara, you wrap us up. So Demetrius, yes.
My closing thought, and this is advice. You think a program is going to cost you a lot of money. Think about your health. Think about the medications that you take when you're unhealthy, going to the doctor, missing work, having to get certain foods, your blood pressure is up. You have to watch your sugar. Think about the money you pay for all of that. Think about getting off or weaning off those meds. I'm not telling anybody, I'm not a doctor. I don't know what you need, but because the thing is, when you go to the doctor, you come back to me and you tell me what the doctor said, and we wean people off certain things. Think about start feeling good about yourself. You don't have to get that medication anymore. You don't have to eat this anymore. Think about the money you save. That's the thing. People always say, oh, well, it costs that. Dude, the information that we have between the three of us, you will live longer. Your finances will be better. You'll have better connection with your family. You'll have clarity. Because when you're on the medication, you're cloggy, your thinking's off. Trust me, I've been on it. I've been overweight. I've been underweight. I've been on meds. I've been off meds. But right now, my energy levels are up. And like I said, energy is time. Time is money. And like I said, invest in yourself. Invest into a program that you're going to improve yourself and your loved ones around you. And that's the thing that I teach, because the thing is, we're charging you guys, it's
inconsequential.
If you can go back and evaluate your life in 30 years, you will be saving your life and money. Save your life and money. That's all I got to say. I'm out.
That's your new slogan. One quick thing, Barbara, then I'll turn it over to you. I have to tell you guys this. Demetrius said he's not a doctor. He doesn't give medical advice. That is very true. There have been so many situations where people have had physical therapists that give them the little printout and say, you need to go do these things. They will bring those things to Demetrius, and the therapist knows that. They'll bring it to He'll look at it, and he will hold them accountable to do those things there.
We had a client with an arm.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. He had another client. I'm not going to go through her whole story, but this was a very traumatic situation, life-threatening situation. And years ago, she was a client, and she made major progress working with Demetrius, where they thought she had no nerves in her arm, and they thought it would never, ever work again. But the things that they were doing together, the nerves started firing again, which was like, what is going on here? And then some other things happened, years passed, COVID happened as well. And then she reached out to Demetrius probably about a month ago and said, my doctor told me that I need to go back and do what I was doing back then when I was working with you. He told me to go find you and do this again. So that was one. And then the last story, because Demetrius was supposed to be on a live with us a few weeks ago, but he ended up in the hospital. He had a little health scare as well. And when he leaving the hospital, they loaded him up with prescription meds and all these different things. One of them was for blood pressure. And he took it. He took the prescription, or am I saying it right? Yeah, prescription. And then he was like, well, I'm not going to get it filled. I don't need this stuff. And I was like, well, they said, then he did get a few of them filled. But then within, what was it, 24 hours, Demetrius, he got I think you took the blood pressure meds once. That was it. One time. And then the next day or 2 days later, he was taking his blood pressure, and he texted a picture of it to his doctor, and his doctor texted back. I told him, save this text. His doctor text, because he sent it in, and it was his blood pressure was perfect. And he sent it, and the doctor he texted back, you are an enigma. So he is very tuned in to his body and how things work and stuff. And so, and he's helped a lot of people overcome injuries and things like that, and nurse back to health in conjunction with their doctor. So in conjunction with your trainer, your doctor, your nutritionist, whatever else you need to have, but you're missing that motivation, that structure, that consistency component. The boot camp fills that spot for you. So Barbara, I'll let you wrap us up.
Well, we've used the word transformation as it relates to lots of areas in our lives. And making a transformation in your life is an investment. It's not an expense. And people will ask us, and I'm sure they asked Demetrius too, how long is this going to take and how much is it going to cost? I mean, that's what people first ask. And the answer is, I'm not sure, because I don't know exactly what you need. In our case, we say, I don't know how quickly you're going to make decisions. So how quickly you make decisions is going to impact how long it's going to take to clean up this messy office. But what we can tell you for sure is the longer you will wait, the longer it will take, and the more it will cost you in lost opportunities. And it isn't so much the money as it is the lost opportunities, the not being able to. In my case, one of my high priorities for fitness is to be able to do things with my grandchildren. And I can't put a price on that. Mm-hmm. So we're so glad you joined us today. Thank you, Demetrius. And as always, you always inspire me. So thank you.
That's perfect. And last thing, if you're wondering how old you have to be or how old is too old or too young, Dee has clients from high school age up to 80s. So if
I'm
you're
77 and I'm 77, working out more than I've ever worked out in my life. So
that's right. And everything in between. So
shoot, I had him I had him 8 months in the belly.
That's true. He got a couple people through some pregnancies, through some high risk pregnancies. So yeah, it's great. Last but not least, guys, make sure you go to our website also, productiveenvironment.com/webinar. We have an upcoming webinar that's going, if you're a business owner especially, that will help you have less clutter and more clients. So depending on when you're watching this, it's either going to be physical clutter or digital clutter, but either way, you probably have both. If you have one, you have the other. So definitely join us at our webinar. All right. Thank you guys so much. Thank you to me for joining us. And thank you, Barbara. And I'm going to end the stream.